We cannot let that continue in this country. Scamming people, taking money, selling land that does not belong to you will end. You rob people of their saving in their life, and then you go scot-free in the streets. Why those families continue to languish in poverty and dismay? That would end. I'll tell you a story today, and I think you can quote me for it. Cabinet took the decision. Then D.A. Jao was minister. As a journalist, senior journalist, he was a minister. He's listening to me. When we came back to cabinet, I asked the question. He said, we have already issued license. Even though we have asked them not to issue license. Today you are victims of that decision. In the case of one physical planning staff, I don't want to mention his name, no ministerial approval was made. Well, in the case of one individual, for his allocation, I don't want to mention his name, no ministerial approval was obtained, and the task force was unable to ascertain how he received a photocopied allocation letter. Consequently, the task force recommend that any allocation lacking ministerial approval be deemed to be invalid and revoked. And from today, I will tell you that the moratorium on land allocation is being lifted. And but let me just tell you one thing. Now, the Gambia is a sovereign state. Nobody dictates how we rule and run our country. We have a right, a fundamental right to charge tax, not on duty because of the ECOWAS ELC, they call it. Salam had a contract to supply cement in Senegal. He was kept 20 days lingering at the border and sent away back to this country. I want Gambians to listen. We own our country. We have to listen, not to listen to enemies of this country for their selfish interest. It seems as the room is very hot. The AC seems to be off. Are they saving cost, or we haven't paid for it? Why? Why are we disconnected from the AC? Good afternoon, Honorable Minister of Information. And good afternoon, Government Spokesperson for the Government of the Gambia, Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Lands, Local Government, Regional Administration and Religious Affairs, Deputy Permanent Secretaries, Directors, Senior Government Officials, and Deputy Spokesperson. And of course, senior officials of the media, reporters, and all other protocols respectfully observed. Today will be my fourth encounter with the press since I took over as Minister of Lands, Local Government, Regional Administration, and Religious Affairs. And I had wanted to do this earlier, but because of a lot of other issues that compounded, make it difficult for me to do that, because people were expecting me at least to speak out. And I think it's time that we speak out, and it's time that we put the Gambians in the picture of what we have seen and what we have done the last 1.5 months or so. Could be 2 months now, almost close to that. I started around the 28th, and that was in March, April, May, so it's 2 months since I've been there. And then there are 2 issues here. I'll be doing a lot of reading. I love talking more than reading when it comes to public appearances. Privately, I read a lot, and I love reading. The reason why I have to read, these are recommendations coming out of an inquiry, investigation, and it is important that you capture them accurately for record purposes. And therefore, I'll be reading that statement. You're all aware there was an ongoing investigation about the issue of Carallo, an area around the Sting Corner that was declared as an industrial zone. And there was a lot of outcry of wrongdoings that led to the president taking a decision in the supreme interest of the Gambian people to get to the bottom of what transpired and what happened at that particular site. Serving public interest, you're always dictated by public concern. And as a result, the president directed that a committee be constituted to investigate and report back so that we can take decisions in the future to avoid that happening. And those decisions I am going to communicate to you as soon as I finish reading this statement. Now, the public raised concerns about Barton Haldane too, regarding the allocations around that end. And we will also tell you what the ministry is doing and intend to do collectively together in order to close the gaps and avoid some of the wrongdoings and the mistakes and some of the practices of the past. And this, I will just set the background for you to understand where we are coming from and where we hope to be together as a country. The Gambia is among the 5th most densely populated countries in Africa. Most of those countries, with the exception of maybe Mauritius, few of them have gone into conflict of land and problems, civil war, and the rest of it. And you must take into account, too, the Gambia, in 30 years from now, this population would have doubled up. And again, we must understand land does not expand. It contracts. Once you give it away, it's gone. It never comes back. And again, you must also understand that it's one of the most important commodity or asset for any country anywhere in the world. And that all the countries that have taken off on development have instituted strong land policy, strong, transparent land policies, including the United States. All the countries that have moved on quick development have managed their land well. So we are at a crucial stage now as a country. We either do it now, hard facts, move with vigor, decisiveness, courage, get it done for our children and our grandchildren, or we fail woefully and subject our country to chaos. Today, the United Nations, the World Bank, the UN, ECOWAS, AU, all these countries, their prediction on Gambia's next crisis will be on land. Our next crisis will not be politics if we don't manage our land. The fight would start and our country will be in trouble if we don't manage our land. Because the way it is being used, the way it is being managed, we all agree, the whole world, not only us, that it is not properly managed, not properly utilized. Therefore, we must take the bitter pill. It's not going to be an easy job. It's not going to be an easy task to address it. It will be a hard one. And I remembered Obasanjo telling me in 2000, we were in the villa having dinner. He said, Honorable Ba, when he was forming the AFCC, the Economic and Financial Crime Commission, he said, when you fight corruption, corruption fights you back. When you are fighting it, graft, they fight you back. So when you are involved in that fight, you must be determined. Don't look back. Make sure you look forward. And he was managing the biggest country in Africa with the biggest economy. That's why when we started the fight, at the Ministry of Tourism. It wasn't easy. They even have to sponsor people to write a petition to the National Assembly. Some of them calling me now, we want to come and tell you why we wrote a petition, who told us to write, but I say I'm not interested. What I do know was I was fighting to correct a system that was not acceptable, and I know the victims would always try to fight back. This one also will be a hard one, but we are determined. We are trusted and entrusted with a responsibility. We'll never waver on it. We will do it together, collectively, all of us together. Gambians, everybody for that matter. I cannot do it alone. So we must be determined to move forward to save our children. 20 years ago, I had a friend who was working at the BICI Bank. I don't want to mention his name. He carried his son. They were going through Abuko. Small boy of at least 4 years, down about 5 years. The boy asked him, Daddy, by the time we grow up, people will not finish this land. Don't you think you will finish our land? Where do you expect us to live? Small boy, huh? The next day, I was chatting with this banker. He told me this story. This is, 20 years ago. That boy, he is now grown up. Just to tell you, if children of that age at that time can think about what to do, how to live with the land, the way land is managed, I saw no reason why we should not wake up and make sure that we take ownership of what belongs to us, than having few people with a clique, with power, with money, owning every bit of our land. And that's what necessitated the following that I'm coming to tell you. That's why the investigation, the recommendation, I will implement them 100%. Number two, I'll give you an update of exactly what we plan to do, so that everybody, every Gambian would know what's happening. This report cannot be kept under the carpet. It cannot be kept under the carpet. No, never. The public was informed, there is an inquiry. When it is completed, the public need to know what's the outcome of that inquiry, right or wrong. It's our interest to make sure that, and our responsibility to inform the public the outcome of that investigation. You will allow me time to read it. Don't ask me a copy. Record what I'm saying, so that when you go, you can transcribe it, because we don't come with enough copies today. But subsequently, we can provide you copies as soon as we get to the office. You know that we're extremely busy. We're extremely busy. We are going through a lot of transformation. The issue of governors, a lot of things that we are transforming. So we cannot even have a space to have a tea, much more lunch at office. And we work very late. So it's not been an easy task. But we are up to the task. We believe that everybody here, because you are looking forward for us to do that. There is this very prominent journalist in this country I was talking to a few days ago. I said, I'm losing a lot of friends because of my position and decision on things that I'm doing. He said, don't mind them. They are the bad friends. The good friends will stick to you. Do your job. I said, is it so? He said, yes. I went to bed. I thought of what this guy told me. I said, he is absolutely right. I will lose friends, but I think these are the bad friends who do not want to see you do the right thing. So it doesn't matter. So if anybody is affected, so be it. I mean, that's what our country needs. And let me tell you that. There are thousands of Ahmad Bas who can do more than what I'm doing. And they're ready to do it. Ahmad Bas goes, somebody will come and do a better. There is no going back on what we have said ourselves for now in the issue of land management and land usage in this country. There is no going back to it. Nobody. Nobody can change it. Because that's the supreme will of the Gambian people. I just gave you that background so that you will know exactly where we are heading to and what we are doing. And I'm willing to answer questions as much as possible government spokesperson and chairman of this meeting, and the Honorable Minister of Information. Honorable Minister, I congratulate you warmly. You have started a job, a task that we need in this country and in this government. We have done so much which is not known. We have done so much which is not exposed. Of course, some few media houses have been trying their very best to portray the things that we are doing. When we are wrong, tell us we are wrong. But when we do good, please tell the good, let people know. That's how you get respected. That you should be balancing your reporting and that you should be able to speak out. And also, you have to share respect with people. Being a journalist, having a microphone and a pen doesn't make you super extraordinary. It makes you servant of the people, serving the people in the best of manner, with all the respect and dignity those people deserve. And I think once you know the danger of this pen, what this pen can cause, it can cause the death of millions of people in Rwanda. Once you know that microphone, you're using how much it can destroy a society and a country, you should be able to always put at the back of my mind that you have a civic responsibility and a national duty to do right to every manner of people during the course of your work. And I pray that this country will develop a strong media that will certainly live to the expectation of the Gambian people. Let me give you a short story with my encounter, my great friend, late Deda Haidara. He was my good friend. Everybody knows Deda was my friend. But we are friends that speak the truth to each other, as I always do with my friends. When they started the Gambia Press Union, they were looking for money for IFIS, from IFIS and other things. I don't need to tell you what I've done with that in Washington. That's history. It was my role. I played my part. And he was the president then of the Gambia Press Union. We sat at his office chatting. I offended Deda so badly. For 1 week, he was putting me on every editorial, hitting me. But when he writes the editorial, when I read it, I call and laugh. Because that's a professional. And he was hitting me professionally. I mean, and we chat in the evening. After hitting me, we chat in the evening. You know what I told him? I said, Deda, some of your journalists are not journalists, they are joined the list. They need to go and learn how to do journalism. I think Deda felt that I've given him the biggest insult in life. So we later on came to understand the issue. He was angry, but later on I think he realized that training is very important in this sector. And Mr. Minister, we spoke yesterday, and I told you that they need the resources to be trained. The media houses don't have money in the Gambia. They are poorly paid. People in the Gambia here don't pay for advertisement. And let me tell you the unfortunate thing in this country, which President Barrow never wanted. And I will tell you today, you cannot own a television, you cannot own a huge GSM company, and you own a TV and own a radio. How will the media get money? How will the media get money to pay for advertisement? I'm just telling you. I'm just telling you what obtained in other countries. And then you own a radio station too. And you are the one supposed to be paying the millions to the media houses for them to build capacity, grow, and make money. Cabinet took that decision not to issue license to the GSM companies. Let them be, so that the advertisement industry will grow and make money, the media will make money. I'll tell you a story today, and I think you can quote me for it. Cabinet took the decision. Then D.A. Jao was minister as a journalist, senior journalist. He was a minister. He's listening to me. When we came back to cabinet, I asked the question. He said, we have already issued license. Even though we have asked them not to issue license. Today you are victims of that decision. You are victims of that decision, these media houses, because will QCell come to pay for advertisement to you? No, they have a TV. They have a radio. Africell have a radio. Everybody will start. Where will you get money? And DA is from your own industry. Let him listen to me. I'm saying this. He's hearing me. Barrow, his government have said, don't give license to GSM companies, because then the elite media industry would not make money that they are supposed to make. Let him respond. He is listening to me. He's our biggest critics. But I'll tell him that he did not help. He did not do much to help the media to make money. And you need this money to train your people. You need this money to upgrade your facilities. You need this money to do a better job. Let him respond. I'm saying this clearly. I was in cabinet sitting down there. Yes. So I told the minister it is important that really government to get resources to help the media houses to train their personnel. Because that training component will make a difference in the quality and how our media operates in this country. Other countries have done it. And why can't we do it here in the Gambia? Work with the Gambia Press Union, work with media houses, how we can generate revenue, how we can support them to train their people to become more professionals so that the service delivery will be important. So on that note, I stand to support you at every level in making sure that we do that. And that's why the president directed me a few weeks ago to make sure that the media houses, some of them, are given land because they are paying too much of rent from where they are operating. And I've already directed a unit within the Ministry of Lands to handle that process, to make sure that we provide land for these media houses to reduce their cost of rent annually. And I am going to implement that request the president forwarded to me. I will do it, inshallah. Now let me start. The preamble, just for a minute. Listen to me, please. Put your tape recorder on. In the third quarter of 2023, a multi-sectoral task force was formed to review the allocation of demarcated plots of land at Carallo Industrial Layout. The task force was to conduct a comprehensive review exercise to thoroughly examine the allocation processes. This process was triggered by the public outcry that multiple and inappropriate allocations were made. This led to the creation of the multiple stakeholder review. The multi-sectorial task force comprised of the following institutions: Ministry of Lands, Regional Government and Religious Affairs, Ministry of Trade and Industry and Employment, Ministry of Justice, National Audit Office, Gambia Police Force, Gambia Investment and Export Promotion Agency, State Intelligence Services, National Physical Planning Board. These were the people involved in the investigation of what we call the public outcry of the manner in which plots were given at Carallo Layout. Background. During the assignment, the task force had to review the relevant laws, policies, and regulations governing land administration and management in the Gambia. These laws and policies played a vital role in regulating land allocation, development, environmental conservation, and sustainable growth. The task force also conducted a series of interviews with allottees and made several visits to the demarcated Carallo Industrial Layout for proper verification. During the review, the task force was made aware of the existence of a development plan alongside a sketch plan to be emanated from the development plan detailing the layout design. The sketch plan was made of two phases: Carallo Industrial Layout Proper, Carallo Industrial Layout Extension. Preparation and design. It was revealed that the growing demand for industrial land had led to the Director of Physical Planning to inform the Honorable Minister of the availability of land at Carallo suitable for industrial layout. However, there was no documentary evidence provided by the physical planning. Nonetheless, the proposal was endorsed at a planning authority meeting of Banjul and Kombo St. Mary's Planning Authority. Demarcation and allocation. Based on the sketch plan that was derived from the development plan, the task force noted that 40 plots were demarcated in Carallo proper, that's the first phase, and 28 plots in Carallo extension, equaling to a total of 68 plots in both the proper and extension. Distribution of plots in Carallo industrial layout as different nationalities as follows: 47 were Gambians, 4 were Mauritanians, 1 was Moroccan, 7 were Indians, and 1 was Chinese. It is important to note that the number of demarcated plots is 68, and some allottees have been allotted more than 1 plot. Also, among the 47 Gambians included naturalized individuals. Detailed findings. The task force noticed that the lack of national land policy has led to the lack of clarity of the mandate of various stakeholders in the land administration process, but also indicated lack of direction in the sector. The task force has limitation during the review as the master plan Carallo file was missing and several attempts were made to retrieve the file, but unsuccessfully. Let me make that clear. The file of Carallo still disappeared. We don't know where it is. Still lost. I've looked everywhere. Nobody can see the file. For your information, it's gone. The file contains information and correspondences between ministry and relevant stakeholders leading to the establishment of Carallo as an industrial layout. The information in this file would have given the task force the opportunity to understand how both Carallo proper and extension was initiated and subsequently approved. Policy and legislative framework for preservation of the environment. Adhering to the laws would ensure that the allocation and development of Carallo industrial layout are conducted in a legal manner. Looking into the policy and legislative framework for the preservation of the environment, the government of the Gambia designated Tambi Wetland National Park as a protected area among few other sites in the Gambia. The decision is anchored on several national policies. 1, the Banjul, the famous Banjul Declaration of Sir Dawda Jawara in 1977. 2, the Gambia Environmental Action Plan of 1992. 3, the National Biodiversity Action Strategy Action Plan 1999. And D, Vision 2020. Declaration of Tambi as Ramsar, part of the convention. The Gambia ratified the Ramsar Convention on Wetland in 1996. The Tambi Wetland National Park was established in 2001, and this covers sites encompassing Banjul Kanifing, Birkama. The wetland captured incoming water and rainfalls, thus playing an important role in the shoreline stabilization and flood control, thereby acting as a hydrological buffer zone, reservoir, or lakes. Carallo is one of the few elevations within the Tambi wetland, with a significant potential for the growth of aquatic life. The marine reptiles living in the water relied on the elevation for their breeding and resting. The forested nature of the site enables it as a habitat of other wild animals and birds, also migrated species that frequent the Gambia during certain period in a year. Therefore, the transformation of the site to accommodate industrial activity has serious ramifications for the wildlife and aquatic creatures. No evidence of environmental impact assessment. The task force noted that an EAI process was never initiated by the proponent, the above-mentioned department, that is the physical planning, their parent ministry, or no completed, that's the Ministry of Environment, no completed before lands were allocated and developed, work started. That means in any development, that any land, anywhere you are giving, environmental impact assessment must be provided. It's by requirement of law. In this case, it was not done. It was never done. At this point, it will be a guesswork to know the full extent of environmental and social impact to be occasioned by the ongoing development. If an ESIA was done, it would have given such information. However, one can safely say the following are possibilities: increased encouragement and land conversion into the wetland, pollution through waste dumping and spilling into the wetlands, increased mangrove dieback due to human-induced activities, ministerial approval without following due process. Section 13(2) of the State Land Act, the planning authority shall advise whether or not the proposed application conforms with the approved plan and establish planning standards. Section 14 of the State Land Act for the states, the department shall, if advised that the proposed application conforms with the approved plan and establish planning standard, submit the application to the minister for approval. For those seeking industrial land allocation, the application process necessitates the submission of several documents. These include completed application form, a proposed business plan, proof of funding, typically in the form of a bank statement, the proposed building design, business registration details, and clearance from the Gambia Investment and Export Promotion Agency, GIPA. During the review exercise, the task force noted that 28 allottees were issued with allocation letters at Carallo Extension without any evidence of approval minuted in their files. Allocation without evidence of ministerial approval. Section 14 of the State Land Act for the state, department shall, if advised, that the proposed allocation conform with the approved plan and establish planning standards, submit the application to the minister for approval. The task force noted with concern that 6 allottees were given with allocation letters without any evidence of ministerial approval minuted in the file by the minister, contrary to the above section of the State Land Act. We noted that these business entities were allocated in some instances more than one plot. Allocation to ineligible applicants. During the review, it was noted that some allottees were allocated plot of land at Carallo proper with no evidence of business registration certificate. Also, no evidence of application fee of 50,000 paid, contrary to the dictates of the Act. Allocation of more than one plot to an allottee. It was noted that more than one plot was allocated to certain companies. However, the justification for allocating more than one plot was not provided for review. For example, there was an instance where applicants whose proposed for applying was for a warehouse were given 2 plots while those who planned to do production were given only 1 plot, casting doubt about the criteria used to determine these allocations. Summary of allocation abnormalities. In summary, the task force discovered a lot of abnormalities in the allocation process of Carallo industrial layout, and these are as follows. Ministers' approval without following. Minister approving without following due process. Allocation without evidence of minister's approval. Allocation to ineligible applicants. Allocation of more than 1 plot to an allottee. Unpresented application files. Missing documents from applicant's file. The lack of evidence of the environmental impact assessment plan. Recommendation now. We come to the recommendation after all this, what the committee have recommended. It says, the Ministry of Land, Regional Government, Religious Affairs should ensure that the strategic documents such as the National Land Policy is developed, implemented, and monitored. The document should clearly outline the country's agenda pertaining to land and the roles and responsibility of the authorities involved in land administration. I'll come to that on the second part of my reading. Number 2 recommendation. The ministry should endeavor to have a proper filing system in place, and efforts should be made to ensure that the missing Carallo file is produced, where we will get more evidence of some of the wrongdoings and concerns of the investigatory committee. We are looking for the file. I don't know whether it has been turned to ash or is still alive somewhere. We'll try to get it. 3, the decision to make Carallo an industrial layout should be reconsidered as it poses serious adverse environmental challenges, as most of the investors have projected to build heavy industries on the site. 4, the above can, however, be validated through a comprehensive environment audit in accordance with Regulation 30 of the cited EAI regulation. It is advisable for the NEA to perform comprehensive general and specific environmental impact assessment at the Carallo site to determine any existing or potential damage. This assessment will serve as crucial information for making informed decisions on a broad scale. 5, the task force recommends that the entire allocation at Carallo extension be revoked simply because all the 28 allocation did not follow due process. In accordance, there is no development on the site. 6, there was no evidence provided to the committee that environmental impact assessment was conducted either by the ministry or the allottees before allocation was done. Therefore, the opportunities associated with such an important assessment was lost due to the ministry's failure for not complying with its relevant laws. 7, the task force recommended that those allocations without evidence of ministerial approval be revoked. The Department of Land Survey, under the leadership of the former Director of Lands, did not follow the due process by allocating without any evidence of ministerial approval in files. 8, in the absence of a business registration certificate and receipt of payment application fee, the said allottees should not have been considered for allocation. As a consequence, the committee recommends that their allocation should be revoked based on the following, or the foregoing. It is evident that the Department of Lands and Survey, under the leadership of former director, did not properly scrutinize the submission of the applicants before allocation. Number 9, the task force recommends establishing clear criteria policy for allocating multiple plots to an individual in the future. This criteria will serve as a transparent and accountable yardstick to determine qualification and enhance the allocation process to be fair and just. In the absence of a clear criteria, they should forfeit the other plots to the state. Number 10, the task force recommends establishing clear criteria policy for allocating multiple plots to individuals in future. These criteria will serve as a transparent, accountable yardstick to determine qualification and enhance allocation process to be fair and just. In the absence of a clear criteria, they should forfeit the other plots to the state. Number 11, in the case of one physical planning staff, I don't want to mention his name, no ministerial approval was made. Well, in the case of one individual, for his allocation, I don't want to mention his name, no ministerial approval was obtained, and the task force was unable to ascertain how he received a photocopied allocation letter. Consequently, the task force recommends that any allocation lacking ministerial approval be deemed to be invalid and revoked. Number 12, additionally, the task force further recommends initiating administrative sanctions against particular staff at the Department of Physical Planning who presented a photocopy of allocation letter to the applicant and devised preventive measures for similar incidents in the future. 13, the task force recommends that allocation, that was a particular company, to be revoked. In fact, this person came to surrender his property even before investigation was completed. It further recommends that the Director of Lands should be held liable for recommending the applicant by ignoring the professional advice of a senior officer at the Physical Planning and Housing. Number 14, by submitting personal bank statement instead of a company's bank statement, raises doubts about the liquidity of the company at the time, and as such, the application did not meet the requirement to be allocated plot, and as a result, it should be revoked. In conclusion, number 15, the ministry hereby accept, let me just tell you, listen to me. The minister hereby accept the recommendation from the multiple stakeholders task force and pledge to implement the recommendation in line with due process in accordance with all the laws. Therefore, it is conclusive. In fact, the entire plots of the extension will be nullified, will be cancelled, and all orders that are fall short of the recommendation here will be revoked as recommended by the task force. And we'll set up a committee to make sure that these recommendations are fully implemented to the letter. And I'll be part of that committee myself. I'll be part of that committee myself to make sure that the recommendations here are implemented to the letter. Now, coming back on the second phase, just quickly, because time is running against us, but just allow me just to read this one, and that will give you a comprehensive idea of where we are heading to, where we need everybody on board. Because there has been some shortcomings, the lack of policy, lack of strategy, we felt that you cannot run a huge ministry like this without a policy. Since independence, Ministry of Lands have never had a policy. I wonder how you can manage a ministry or institution without a policy. You know why? The policy dictates the strategy. That's why when I was in the Ministry of Tourism, the first thing I did was to develop the cultural policy, which became operational by 2018, 2019. And I developed the tourism policy. Because when you don't have a policy, there will be no strategy. You will just be walking ad hoc. You have no sense of direction. How can you have the most important commodity in our country with no policy since independence from subsequent governments? Where are you leading us to? You are leading us to chaos. No doubt the UN and the World Bank believe our next crisis in the Gambia will be on land issue because there is no sense of direction. Now, this ministry, challenges and importance of land. The Gambia is among the least developed countries in the world, ranked 175 out of 189 countries, according to UN Human Development Report 2022. The recent household poverty survey shows that 54% of population are below the poverty line, and poverty highest in the rural areas. The Gambia is considered to be one of the most highly densely populated countries in mainland Africa, with a population density of 245.5 people per square kilometer and a total land area of about 11,000 square miles. With a population growth rate of 3.1% per annum, the population will in 21 years. 30 years is the most statistic that I believe from all the indication will double up. It has one of the fastest urbanization rates in sub-Saharan Africa, accounting for almost 58% of the country's total population. That we hope that the provision of electricity and water, what this government is doing, and road network will reverse that. We cannot all live in the combos. It has made the combos very expensive. Once we have the Bara Banjul Bridge, I can live in my village and drive to work every day. Because we've seen people in Europe driving 200-300 kilometers to come to work. I am more comfortable living in my village, coming to work and going back, than really living in the combos with all the hustle and bustle. So this government have not lost focus of that, making so that we provide the amenities of country, and people will definitely, some of them will go back and decentralize some of these industries. People will go back to live in their villages. You cannot develop one side of the Gambia and leave the rest. So we hope this government will succeed in that because we are determined to do it. Land as a national issue. Land is recognized as a vital resource for individual and survival and the economic development of the country, explicitly mentioned in the 2023-2027 National Development Plan as a key enabler for economic transformation and development. Absence of a holistic land policy. Currently, there is no holistic land policy, and several stakeholders act in a fragmented and uncoordinated manner in land tenure, administration, management, and planning. There is also no national urban policy or land use to support planned urban development. Sad to see that, very sad. Dual land tenure system. The Gambia operates a dual land tenure system, including customary and formal tenure system. Customary tenure is predominantly in rural areas, where formal tenure governed by statutory laws is more common in urban areas. The absence of robust land policy framework undermines effective land resource and management and governance. Challenges in land management and governance. The management and governance of land have often been marred by conflicts, inequality, and unsustainable practices leading to environmental degradation and social injustices. The nation faces numerous unresolved land conflicts, a high number of pending land cases in courts, a decline in public trust in land administration, dual land issuance, unauthorized land extension, and a lack of systematic procedure for recording, retrieving, and tracking land records. Need for modernization. The reliance on a paper-based administration system has resulted in inefficiencies, impeding effective land application process. There is a pressing need to modernize and streamline procedures to enhance efficiency and responsiveness. Additionally, the deficiency in cadastral mapping further compounds challenges as accurate and updated cadastral maps are essential for delineating property boundaries, facilitating land transaction, and ensuring equitable land distribution. Ministerial initiative to address the above challenges, including formation of an integrated land policy. Under the leadership of His Excellency President Adama Barrow, the government is committed to land sector reform. With the World Bank support, the Ministry of Lands, Regional Government and Religious Affairs is formulating the first ever integrated land policy. Beside the people, the greatest national resource of a country is the land, which is infinite, while there is growing demand for it for several uses. In this direction, the Ministry of Land, Regional Government and Religious Affairs has recently received support from the World Bank to formulate the first ever integrated land policy. The policy formulation has begun, and currently 2 consultants, national and international, are already employed to support the process with the ministry and other national stakeholders. A roadmap leading to the finalization of the policy is developed with the participation of all national stakeholders, and the multi-sectoral technical committee are formed and work has already begun there. The 4 thematic working groups have commenced producing their inputs as per given guidelines. The formulation process will be guided by an intensive participatory process involving all stakeholders, leaving nobody behind, bearing in mind that the diversity of the land sectors. The consultation plans have already been prepared, which involve central, district, and sectorial levels. Consultation will be done with special groups such as women, youths, people living with disability, private sector, NGOs, SEOs, National Assembly Select Committee on Land Matters. The use of formal and non-formal media will be adopted to get everybody on board on the formulation of the national land policy that we all own. Special efforts will be taken to ensure diaspora participation in the policy formulation in order to further enrich the national discourse, views, and voices on the land policy. The policy formulation involved extensive stakeholder participation and focuses on the following: formulating an inclusive, gender-sensitive national land policy. Number 2, conducting systematic demarcation and land registration. Number 3, establishing a digital land information system. Number 4, formulating a land use plan. Establish mechanism to standardize land management processes and procedures at regional and national level. Of recent, we have realized that the process and issuance of land demarcation procedure varied from one region to another, even at the national level. In our drive to address such mayhem, we have received support from the UNDP and will soon embark on a standardization of the land management process and procedure, thereby ensuring uniformity, conformity at all levels. It is our conviction that once such mechanisms are adequately put in place, it will help address some of the land challenges confronting us. The general public will be adequately sensitized on such mechanism, which will lay down standard processes and procedures to be adopted by alcalos and cefalos at all levels. Capacity building initiative. With World Bank support, the ministry hired an international consultant to conduct a capacity assessment and develop a capacity building plan for the land administration sector. The consultant conducted thorough examination of the ministry's structures and processes. It assesses the entire structure, from the various departments under the ministry to municipality and area councils, district chiefs, and the relevant institutions that collaborate with the ministry, and highlights areas that require attention and resources. The capacity building plan proposed a comprehensive roadmap designed to develop and enhance the ministry's capabilities to meet its goal by improving skills and competence, strengthening its structures and processes, and ensuring sustainable development. Governance and decentralization. The policy and legal reforms. Pursuant to the ministry's vision to be the platform for effective and efficient local governments and services delivery, plans are on the way to undertake a comprehensive and inclusive policy review and update the decentralization framework and local authorities. Institutional policies, particularly the Local Government Act 2002 and the Gambia National Policy for Decentralization and Local Government Development, thanks to the meaningful and purposeful support from the United Nations Development Program. The Directorate of Lands and Decentralization will soon embark on key comprehensive review and thorough assessment of decentralization instrument and capacity needs of local government sectors. Given that this act have been amended several times, and in a bid to streamline the conduct and procedures of the regional administration and service delivery, in consonance with the national policy and program, there can be no better time now to revisit the act. In line with these goals, the Directorate of Governance, with partners and donors, will review a consulting firm to be hired to lead the consultative process across the country with key stakeholders in order to sensitize them, but more importantly, to obtain their inputs and ensure ownership of the policy instrument. An inclusive legislative development process will be promoted, ensuring the participation of women, PWDs, and youth to participate in the revision. Some of the initiatives include capacity building of the newly elected councillors. Capacity building for councillors is essential. We believe that the training program will enhance their roles and responsibility, ensuring effective local governance and harmony between councillors and administrative arms. Capacity needs. A capacity assessment will be undertaken to develop a prioritized capacity development plan for the ministry and local authorities. This will address technical, human infrastructural, and financial needs. Standardizing land and management process. The ministry plans to standardize land and management process and procedure to ensure uniformity across the region, supported by UNDP. This will address current inefficiencies and improve land application processes. National Boundary Commission. The establishment of a National Boundary Commission was necessitated by a protocol signed between the government of the Gambia and Senegal on the 21st of February 2011, culminating into the creation of a joint Senegalo-Gambian Boundary Management Commission, which comprised of the National Boundary Management Commission of both countries. The National Boundary Management Commission of the Gambia was created under the Ministry of Lands, Regional Government, Religious Affairs in 2013 to engage its Senegalese counterparts and international partners in helping to finalize lasting solutions to the protracted land conflict and border disputes between the government of the Gambia and Senegal. The main causes of these disputes are unclear border demarcation in some areas and complexities characterized by the socio-economic activities of our borders. During the meeting of the Senegalo-Gambian Border Management Commission held 25-26 July 2023 and the subsequent third Senegalo-Gambian Presidential Council held in Banjul on the 30th to the 1st of July 2023, the two heads of state issued executive directives for Joint Border Commission to implement the agreement, roadmap, and work plans are expressed below. Conduct sensitization campaign at the affected border communities of both countries, including local and regional authorities and different sectors, securities units. conduct frequent and regular consultation meetings of the Commission to effectively implement the agreed work plan roadmap both in the Gambia and Senegal. Convene regular border commission meetings. Following the July 2023 Joint Boundary Commission meeting and the Senegalo-Gambian Presidential Council meeting held on the 31st of July, 1st of August 2024 in Banjul, the National Boundary Management Commission has been revitalized and several meetings were held to discuss the following: review and draw implementation plan for the roadmap and conclusion of the July 2024 Joint Boundary Management meeting held in Banjul. B, work towards the institutionalization of the Commission by setting up a secretariat at the Ministry of Lands and recruitment of staff to run the secretariat in 2025. Meanwhile, Ministry of Finance has allocated budget for the activities of the Commission for 2024 and a desk officer appointed. Internal search for verification of existing documents on the actual boundaries between the Gambia and Senegal through the help of commissions, members from lands, geology, NCAC, and co-opted retired surveyors and cartographers. Prepared commission to have fruitful engagement with Senegalese authorities for a mutual agreement position on the possible demarcation of our boundaries. Plan tour to all the boundaries across the country. A follow-up meeting of the joint Senegalo-Gambian Boundary Management Commission was held last week on the 30th and 31st of May in Dakar, Senegal, where both parties reviewed the status of implementation of the agreed conclusion. Of notable significance was an agreement to conduct sensitization activities along the border communities in order to allow farmers to continue to enjoy farming activities along the borders. Tour of borders. The Commission has commenced nationwide tour of borders and just concluded the first phase of the tour, which covers selected villages in West Coast, Katong, Dasilame, Dimbaya, Shiboro, and Omoroto Block, Jikin, Ompat, Arangale, Kanilai, Tintimba Village, Lower River Ribbon, Misira Jara, West, and Sandeng Village in Kiang. The Commission also sent a team to Sandu District to help address a border dispute between the two villages, one in the Gambia and the other one in Senegal. The team was able to mediate the two parties and urge them to exercise restraint and maintain already existing status quo, while the two countries find a lasting solution to the matter. Strengthening decentralization structure. Funded by UNICEF, UNDP, this initiative aims to support grassroots governance and capacity building in the URR, LRR, and CRR North. Launched in 2019, it has completed a series of capacity building activities, including restructuring and training of VDCs, WCs, WDCs, benefiting 386 VDCs and 30 WDCs, promoting women participation in community development, leadership, and political reform platform, establishing and alienating community child protection communities in 145 communities, orienting community actors, elders, and leaders on case management for children and the children protection system. Job, skills, and finance program for women and youth. Funded by the EU through UNCDF, this project operates in 32 wards across the local governments in the country. It provides performance-based climate resilient grants to undertake climate risk vulnerability assessment and implement priority adoption and measures. A total of $2,070,000 was disbursed between 2019 and 2023, creating over 4,578 temporary jobs for women and children, for youth and women. Government has contributed over $30 million for the continuation of this project. Program accelerated community development. the Gambia government initiative to deliver quick dividends to rural communities, particularly hard-to-reach areas. The department, in partnership with the Department of Agriculture, focuses on food security. Subcomponent beneficiary communities have received 38 facilities, including 19 tractors and post-harvest machines. Appropriate Technology Unit, funded by UNIDO through the Social Development Fund, the project focuses on providing low-cost, energy-efficient technologies, including the production of 1,600 energy-efficient stoves and training youths in various appropriate technology design. The unit also supports skills training and building sanitary facilities. Climate Smart Rural WASP project. Funded by ADB, this project designed communities, latrines, train artisans to address open defecation. It coordinates the construction of 40 industrial latrines in schools, health facilities, and other public areas. Support to small ruminants production. The department provides capacity building, training on groups, management, and governance for beneficiary and monitors the operation of facilities. Gambia Social Safety Network, in partnership with NANA and the Department of Social Welfare, this project provides unconditional cash transfer to 16,966 households in 20 districts. A follow-up to the project. The Resilience, Inclusive Skills, and Equity Race projects is in the preparatory stage. Cross-border initiative, in partnership with IOM and FAO, the department supports border communities in promoting coexistence and addressing their priorities. Key affected communities include Dasilame, Jiboro, Koto, Misira, Tambanding, and Sinchubara. Just a quick one. Yesterday, I had a meeting with the estate agencies in this country, their executive unit. Day before yesterday, I received a lady, civil servant, came to my office, said, Minister, I want to see you. Said, you don't have an appointment. Said, I don't think I need an appointment, Mr. Minister. I understand nobody gets appointment coming to you. I want to see you. She insisted on seeing me, and I saw her. She gave me a paper. Her mother, her father, her brother, all the money they had in life, they bought a piece of land from an agent that can never show them where the land is. All their savings went in vain. Immediately, I ordered the estate agency's executive to come and meet me the next day. Couple of it, they have already sought for an appointment. We met them yesterday, and I've given directives. We cannot wait for the law. We'll put in regulation to regulate them. From Monday, they are starting to, I'm giving them 2 weeks to produce lead for them to be gazetted, and we will deal with them according to law. We cannot let that continue in this country. Scamming people, taking money, selling land that does not belong to you will end. And we have to ask a question. Let me tell you, why that when you steal a car, you go to sell it to Sankare. When Sankare is caught, you, the one who stole the car, and the one who bought it will be arrested and charged. Why, when someone sold you land that does not belong to you, him or her, you are never taken to court. Why in this country? Why? You rob people of their saving in their life, and then you go scot-free in the streets. Why those families continue to languish in poverty and dismay? That would end. And I've told them I want the regulation in 2 weeks. We'll gazette them and we'll reinforce them in court of law. They will be dealt with. Whilst we will, during our World Bank conference, I've seen what other countries have done. I've told them we will conduct a study, we'll send them for study to go, compare, and we try to establish a law in this country to protect the consumers at every level. Everybody comes up with an agency, starts scamming people. That has to end. There must be rule of law in a country. We can't allow people to be breaking the law and get away with it. And let me tell you that. The sad story you will discover. 80% of all our cases in the courts are on land. Will you believe that? You know why? Everybody who has the cap, I'm not referring to you, want to be in the land business as lawyers. And let me tell you, one of the biggest grabbers of land in this country count members of the legal fraternity #1. Let them, I'm saying this. Yeah, let them hear me. I mean, I'm saying what is in my heart here, what I've seen. And let me tell you the second thing. They will talk about human rights when somebody is arrested. They will insult the government. You are doing this human right violation. When our land is being robbed, they never utter a word about that. When our children and our land property is being robbed and taken by all other means and all other schemes, they never talk about the right to land. They only talk about right to freedom of speech when a journalist or somebody is arrested. But the people being robbed of their most important commodity, they will never talk about it. For small issue, they say go to court, because that's how they make the money. Yeah, it's a fact. We call them to join us in the formulation of this policy. And that's why, that's why when we had the committee, the committee on this policy, the bar association was leading it. Somebody told me it should not be the bar. I say leave them there. Let them lead the legal, that aspect of the committee. Let them lead it. Let the bar lead it. Then they will come to know what's happening. Look, you can't wake up one day, take our land, using all sort of means, impoverishing us. It has to stop somewhere. This country belongs to all of us. I am not perfect. None of us is perfect. But we must be seen to be doing what is right for our country. I think basically for me, that's what is important. And let me tell you, in the ministry, the World Bank have provided us $2 million to train 100 university graduates. Mold them, take them to the best universities. They can take over this ministry gradually for future administration. It's the only way out. We need men and women of skills and knowledge who are trained, and we have to invest in this, in the human development, of capacity development of our people. We have to invest in it. And when you do that, you must pay them what they need to be paid. These are technicians. If you can pay the lawyers extra, why don't you pay people with specialized skills in the system of government to retain and maintain them? The attrition rate is high in most part of our government system because the specialized people with special skills and knowledge are not being remunerated to suit their needs. And therefore, everybody wants to build a healthy family. When they have a better offer, they will go. So I believe that after all this training, we need to see how we retain some of these people in the system. And those 100 Gambians will be selected professionally, and they will be trained. And I believe that once we phase out the current ones who have institutional memory, who have the knowledge, they will guide them. By the time they reach a certain level, those people would have been in a position to take over this country's policy and program with everything in place. You can sit in the office to know where land is available, who gave land for what, why was that land given away. That's the time we take full ownership of our country. Not when the minister can just call, Fatih Demba, okay, we give you this land, and that's the end of the story. We have to end that. That has to end somewhere. As I said, the journey is not going to be easy. It's going to be difficult because there are serious big people, a lot of guns, a lot of money who are going to be affected by our future policy. So we are expecting more petition from them because they will go and sponsor petition in the assembly everywhere, thinking that they can detract us or change our opinion and mind and direction. They will fail woefully. And I think, as I said before I conclude, President Barrow has given us 1,000% support in this process, unwavering support. And every day he said, I am 100% behind you, Honorable Minister, let's get it done with your team. The political support is there, the will is there, determination, the zeal, and inshallah, together, all of us, we need to get it done. So that when we are gone, we have something to leave for these kids. And let me tell you too, very sad thing I've discovered. People are given land, they cannot even pay rent where they live. Allocated land. Next 1 hour, they go and sell it to somebody, pittance. Wallahi. And they end up having no house, no land. The money they spend in 6 months, the money is gone. What this government plans to do is to work with partners to build nothing less than 100 to 200,000 houses that Gambians can rent and take ownership after the payment of their rent. Because not everybody here have money to build a house. So giving you land when you cannot build is like putting you in more trouble. And that's what obtained in most of the countries in our neighboring countries. We build the land, give it to you, you stay in the house. And then when you finish paying, it becomes yours. And then your children don't. Look, it's sad. People die today. Next day, 1 week, they give their families notice. They have nowhere to go. And every day, single parents come to you crying for this. Wallahi, they always come crying. I'm being evicted with my children. My husband abandoned me, went back there. My husband is dead. My husband just ran away from me because the husband cannot afford anymore to feed the family. If you have somewhere to stay, you can hustle what to eat. But if all these are absent, life is worth nothing to you. So as a government, we owe it to the people to initiate ideas and policies that will address this. Address this. And from today, I will tell you that the moratorium on land allocation is being lifted. And but let me just tell you one thing. I had a meeting with the finance minister, and we are going to have a different policy now. Not immediately. There will be few companies that will be allocated land, but with contribution to the state on the table. Until we get a policy now, there's going to be a policy. We will no longer give land free to businesses who are making money. That will stop. National Assembly will be involved, Minister of Finance, government, to come up with a policy, rules, that when you want land, we know how to get the land. We can tender the land with specialized agencies to make sure that this land is bought and the state gets the money to develop this country. That money can build us houses for the needy. But come, you are a business making money, we give you land, we get nothing out of it, and you are not even telling us the number of people you are employing. You go to other countries before you must tell them how many people you are employing first. That's number one criteria, before the rest of it comes. We review the entire process to make sure that we get value of our property for the states. And there is no amount of would stop them inducing people. If you know the amount of inducement we face every day, you will not believe it. But I think they are beginning to learn it's not business as usual anymore. It's not business as usual. They are beginning to learn. And that's why there are a lot of insult and abuses, because they are so powerful. They thought with their guns they can shoot at anybody and get away with it. And we have to end that. It must end somewhere. As I said, I cannot do it alone. We all have to do it together. This is our country. And let me also ask people who take decisions on matters of the state, please don't see this state as your enemy. Everybody who comes, there is a judgment against the state. Every issue, injunction against the state, as if the state is your enemy. Your children, your grandchildren are the owners of this state. If you know the amount of judgment they put against this government, If we are to pay next year, there will be no budget. Let those making decisions in institutions, courts, everywhere, understand that the state belongs to all of us. You hate Adam Barrow, anything government, bam. You don't like anything government, bam. That has to end. This country belongs to all of us. Adam Barrow will go and leave us here. And the Gambia will remain. Jawara is gone, Jammeh is gone, the Gambia is not still here. We'll all be gone. So it's our country. Let's take ownership of our country. And this land policy, we want all of you to be part of it. There is a media committee, am I right? Publicity committee in the policy. And I want them to engage. Is the GPU involved? Yes. So we all have to take ownership of the policy that we will guide you when we are not here. That you can all over refer to and have pride of saying, look, that's what we did together, all of us, for this country. On that, Mr. Chairman, it has taken too long. I have 2 engagements outside. One of them is family issue, the other one is official. What's the time now? 1:30. 1:30, yes, yes. I must say my wife is going to make her today. My sister is going to make her today. I have 3 appointments at the office. So I would rather allow that we limit the questions as much as possible. So that, Mr. Chairman, yes, please.
Oh my.
I call your name, you are not in. He writes very well. Yeah. He writes, I like his English. I lost 6 glasses in 1 week. I don't know where.
Thank you very much. And the journalists, thank you very much for your patience. It was a marathon speech by Honorable Ba. You know, he was a school teacher. You know, as school teachers, the late Tony Blaine said they always suffer from verbal diarrhea. You know, so, yes. But it was Whitehead, the philosopher, who said that to talk sense is to talk in quantities. I think the Honorable Minister has actually spoken in quantities. He began by telling us about our own fraternity as journalists, that our sense of professionalism needs to be upgraded, and his own position that government should also help because of our skills, you know, needed to be upgraded, but we have no money. So money actually at the end of the day is very pivotal in the training of journalists and everybody for that matter. The Honorable Minister specifically talked about Carallo, that there were 2 Carallos. One is Carallo, as it is known, and the other one is the extension, Carallo, the extension. Altogether, he talked about 68 plots of land that were distributed, mostly illegally, if I could use the word, mostly illegally, because some of them were issued without ministerial directions, and even where there were directions, the file went missing. You know, in Nigeria, during the oil boom, they had a disease called patriotiasis. And what patriotiasis means is the disease, the malaise that comes with petroleum. So they would just take a matchstick and just take kerosene and burn the files. So I hope patriotiasis is not what is coming here. But nonetheless, it was a very, very lucid, very extensive speech. Without much ado, and since he said he has all these programs going on, I would suggest that we have concise, limited questions, and as usual, you raise your hand, you identify yourself, and then you know the institution you represented. Yes.
Short questions.
Yes,
I
Omar.
want to go and see my family before they go there. Yes.
You have a mic? Zeda, where's the mic? Yes.
I mean, there are only 2 questions. Send me Ross.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister Omar from the Standard newspaper. I have 2 questions. One on the report on Carallo. I think it's a very extensive report, and recommendations are great in terms of course, you know, ensuring that there is transparency and accountability in the allocation of land. But what I haven't had is the issue of holding those who are responsible of those illegal allocation to account? Are you going to hold them to account, those who were responsible for those illegal allocations? The final question is with regards to the issue of land allegedly allocated to the president. One of the opposition leaders in the country alleged that the president is allocated land for his retirement. He wants the president to explain that. But as the Minister of Lands,
thank you.
I want you to explain if you have...
Let me just come straight, right, so that we can save time. The last question, I'm going to give very appropriate response to my brother Usain Dabo. I'm working on the statistics and detail to give a special conference to respond to him as the Minister responsible for land. That will come soon, very soon indeed. So I'll give you that. And I'll make sure that Standard will be invited there. I don't speak on hearsay or untested generalization. I speak on facts, and I'll put the facts before the Gambian people. Next, the question you asked me is the most difficult question for me. Those who are found wanting, will they be dealt with by law? How will they be dealt with? Absolutely, they will be dealt with. But the process, how they will be dealt with, I cannot really specify that. I think this is a matter above me. It has to be a decision, a collective decision. A lot of other stakeholders who are involved. If you will see that there are other ministries that are involved in this process. They need to be dealt with. How and manner I'm not yet, but they need to be dealt with to serve as a deterrent for tomorrow. I can guarantee you that something will be done. But how far, what measures, what strategy, really I cannot detail now. But then we will inform you subsequently.
Thank you very much, sir. Mr. Taylor. My question, sir, is that...
Taylor of the West Coast Radio.
Guyana. I'm on many news.
Yeah, I listen to you sometimes.
Okay.
With so many misinformation of some of your things about government. I listen.
I'll bring you on there. You can come and clarify.
Of course. I listen to everything you people are saying.
Please.
And I laugh sometimes. Okay. Yes, go ahead. Go ahead.
I'll go with my question.
Yes, please.
You did talk about that the director will be reprimanded of lands. Right?
He's retired.
Okay. However, you never talked about the minister. Yeah? And the
minister is out of office.
So yes.
What follow yet? I don't know. That's what I'm saying. Let me help you.
Thank you.
I cannot tell you exactly what extent, but there will be action done.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So then that's good. At least you're getting my question.
Yes.
But you talked about land being allocated to media, right?
Yes. Selected media houses.
Thank you. So
not to everybody.
So those media houses, how many media houses?
I cannot tell you now.
Is the Gambia Press Union a benefactor? The union has been trying.
No, but the union have got it. They've got allocation.
Has that been finalized?
You mean a beneficiary?
Yes. Are they included?
Let me tell you, take it from my word that they will be part of it. Even if they are there, I will include them.
Okay.
Because I was helping them when I was not even a minister to get land. Go and ask them. They will tell you. Okay. I can assure you now, I'm minister, they will get.
And my last question is about the missing document.
Not only that one, that there are a lot of missing files there. So many kaitol jama filter jele.
So the missing document, when will we get to an end of this? Because of
we are computerizing. We are computerizing.
My question.
Yes.
This is why I'm asking, because of this government has had a plan to do digitalization since in the first NDP, which has even expired now.
Yes.
We have a new NDP.
Yes.
Now, you mentioned about the digitalization.
Yes.
When will this happen? Because
soon.
If that happens,
yes.
Please give me a time frame. If that happens, then there will be no missing documents.
Absolutely.
Yes. Then the approval system will be able to follow
faster. Yes. We have the file tracking system already been built. Mm-hmm. We have advanced in that, and the rest of the digitalization is key. With the World Bank stresses, everybody stresses, there is no compromise about that. It will be done. Part of this policy. It will be done. Be rest assured of that.
So this year or next year?
April 2025, about that, next year. We believe that will be the first day we'll roll out the first draft of the policy.
You have a mic? Go ahead. I
do you have any?
Thank you. Honorable Minister, at the start you said you are ready to answer a lot of questions. and now you change your mind?
No, because I now realize I have a social responsibility too with my family. Yeah, I need to. Working hours doesn't matter. I work out of working hours for government. You understand that? I work till 7 o'clock, and then my working hour is 4, and I work till 7. I receive the whole day receiving people, and I do my job and they go home. Yes, so I need to go and see my family.
The President of the Republic, twice at the State of the Nation address, have been talking about the real estate, that there is a bill. I did 2 stories to show that the President there was no bill.
There is?
There is no bill at the national.
There is a bill. I cannot wait for a bill. I am taking decision. Listen, let me help you. Within the law, I have powers to make regulations. And those regulations can be enforced by law. The bill is being prepared. They are working on the bill. But it will take another 2-3 years before you get that bill. How can we continue to be suffering when we have another instrument to use while the bill is being prepared? The president is right. There is a bill in preparation. But we cannot wait for that. You have to be strategic in government in managing issues of state. Now that I have a power to put in regulation, to regulate them, I'll use that while the bill will work on. Period.
No, what I'm saying, the president is not right.
The president is 100% right that there is a bill.
Wait, I'm coming.
He's right, there is a bill.
No, I did a story. I went to the ministry. That was before your appointment. You are just new there, sir. I went to the Ministry of Justice. There is no bill. So, for me, I'm looking at it.
There is a bill in preparation, my friend.
Okay.
And legislative matters are based on different stages. Okay? A bill is being prepared to make sure that we regulate them. But for me, what I saw the last 2 days, I felt I cannot wait for that. I need to use the other part of the law, create regulation to deal with them.
Okay. What does the government intend to do with the prime lands in Batakunku, Tanje, Sarwan, other places?
I cannot tell you that now. I don't have all the details with me.
How about the land commission? There's a land commission that was established by this government.
I'm looking at all those commissions.
And it's a dormant.
I am looking at all those commissions to get prominent, committed Gambians to do that. And there are a lot more investigation coming up.
Seriously.
And I've already started consultation with prominent Gambians that I believe they are trusted. They will do us a good job.
So what we take home here is full of a minister giving us a lot of promises.
No, not promises.
Yeah, you gave everything.
No, that's not. I gave you facts here. The statement I gave you is not facts. Coming out of an inquiry, is that a promise? Recommendation I've mentioned to you, decision I've mentioned to you, is that a promise? I ask a question to you. Is that a promise? The facts that I gave you here. No. The facts I gave you, is that a promise? These are facts written by investigators who came out with recommendation. Who said it? Is that a promise? Thank you. Next question.
Yeah.
Honorable Minister, Sonia Security, I was going to ask about what government is doing to regulate the real estate industry. We've addressed that. On Mandua, when will they get a new Carallo, sir?
Very good question. I worked on it since even yesterday. You see, I believe in replacing Carallo. The whole family cannot be wrong. You know, you have lineage, inheritance. I want to respect that, because that's what is in the law. Consultations are ongoing. Even yesterday, I worked on it. And be rest assured that I want to make a correct decision on this matter, so that we don't make another mistake. The recommendation that the governor received was not very welcoming to me. You cannot bring me somebody who was there and removed, and you want to bring him by without telling me why he was removed. Are you with me? So I don't want to preempt, but the consultation are on. Be rest assured that soon we'll make a decision. Yes.
Any other question? That's a follow-up.
Last one, I think.
Any fresh question before the follow-up? You have a fresh question?
No, I don't have a question. I just want to appeal to the Honorable Minister. What you have said here, I think, is very important. My name is Sidi Wikani from Tranga FM. For us, we would like to have or appeal when we are discussing some of these issues. I'm appealing we use the national language, because most of our listeners, what you have said here, if we want to translate all those to them, it will be very difficult. Though it's our job, but it will be very difficult. But if they can hear from Honorable Minister himself, in the local language, I think it will help us a lot.
If you know the pressure I'm going through today in life, you will never subject me. You will never subject me to be on the radio in Wolof and Pular and Mandinka. Wallahi, it's too much. I can tell you that. But let's try. I think you can interpret it through. You have the. We'll have the report sanitized and then given away. Give them the documents so that you can use it during your radio program at different stages to be able to. And newspapers can serialize it, and you know, online papers also can do the same thing. We'll get the document perfected today. And government spokesperson and the Ministry of Information will have the documents to distribute to different agencies and media line who want to have it. I think that would help you to do that, really.
And that's what I was going to say. It's going to be very difficult to transcribe or try to report on the long reading. So Safi will send me a copy, and Sankano will distribute it to everybody, every media house. You'll have the copy. In subsequent press conferences, however, you are at liberty. If you want to ask questions in Mandinka or Fula or Wolof,
I will answer.
Yeah. Even now, if somebody wants to ask for the benefit of your listeners who want to hear Fula, you know, or Wolof, you're more than welcome to that. Yes, sir.
Thank you very much.
Take this man. Oh.
Very anonymous again, as I will say. Thank you. My last question on this, on your part, I do have some other questions if you guys will stay. The Car Dealers Association, they were set to have a press conference with us and they invited us. But we understand that you intercepted them and you had a meeting with them. Now, how has that gone? Because there was, obviously this predates your ministry when they were allegedly, apparently awarded a land area where they could do their cars and stuff because there has been so much Operation Clear.
I don't want, excuse me.
Tell us where you are.
I don't want to get to all what you are saying. I know more than you think I know about. But what I can tell you is, I stand to help them. Give them a space where they can sell their vehicles. In every country you go, most countries have traveled. They have areas for car dealers. There are areas, spare part dealers. They have areas for mechanics, well designed. As I said, when you don't have a policy, you're just operating. You go to Nigeria. When you go to Abuja next time, ask them where is Dede. You know Dede? You go to Dede, they take you there. That's where you find the car dealers. We want to make sure in the Gambia, we have an area dedicated to them, leased to their association. They operate it. They work with the municipalities, and we try to see how we can raise them money through World Bank, perfect the place, let them live in a decent environment. They are creating jobs. They are contributing to the economy. They cannot be left ad hoc everywhere. I believe they have a right. And I spoke to them, and they've started meeting with the permanent secretaries. I've already directed that we must give them a piece of land, wherever it's going to be, but they have a right to it. And they should be given.
Thank you. And mine is about the land that you said the government has in plans to give to media houses. I know right now there's a lot of media houses, I mean the big ones who already have land. The Fatu Network has been trying for over 4 years now, we don't have one. But I know the moment we're given one, the talk will start again. But already, there are ones that we're given already. What is the criteria? And I hope this time around, the Fatu Network will be among the media houses that would have a piece of it.
Fatu, you know that I'm never very selective. And when I take decision, I take my decision. I don't look back. What you say about me, it's not for me, it doesn't bother me. I just want to take decision when my consent is clear. And I think really, you are one of those who have a very big reading coverage in the Gambia. And not also that, you have earned the respect of reporting objectively. That's my view. I may differ with others. You know what I'm saying? So I am making the decision. Not anybody that makes a decision. And I know you employ a lot of people.
We've been waiting 4 years.
Yeah, I know that. I'm aware. I saw your name. I saw it there. Be rest assured that when the decision is done, we'll do it objectively and fairly. But those that are just waking up an individual person saying, I'm a media house, I'm not saying I will not give them, but they will not be a priority in the first list. But those that I know that they are established, particularly the print media, some of them have been paying very expensive, exorbitant rents. And it's not fair on them. When they have a stake in the country, They are also contributing, even though we may not agree with them in most of the things, but I can see that it's their right to be given a piece of land, and we'll give them. The president have asked me, I've already had it before he even told me I wanted to create what he called the Fleet Street in London. He knows about the Fleet Street. You know about the Fleet Street in London. I want to create the Fleet Street in Banjul, in the Gambia here, where all the media houses, except the television who may have a class when they are close together with their network, whatever, but the other ones, the print media, we will try to get them at least to be in one place. You find everybody. There will be a street exclusively for media houses. So we'll treat you fairly, in fact. Because as you will be treated fairly like any other media house, including the Gainako.
So that's a follow-up question, and that will be the last question.
I have one question to ask, please.
Okay, can you stand up?
And identify yourself.
Okay.
Give her a chance, please.
Can you just dial from iAfrica TV? So
For?
iAfrica TV.
iAfrica.
Right.
Yeah, good. Let me listen to you.
Yeah, so given the significant outcomes from the local government commission, my question is, since its establishment, is your office currently taking any proactive measures despite the commission's ongoing investigations and to address potential issues that the average Gambian might not anticipate within a year? And also, could you...
I cannot even understand the first question.
Okay, my question is, given the significant outcomes...
Calm down. Ask it slowly.
Okay. Okay, given the significant... Yeah.
You don't need to rush. I'm listening.
Okay, outcomes from the local government commission, right? Since its establishment, is the office currently taking any proactive measures, despite the commission's ongoing investigations, to address potential issues that the average Gambian might not anticipate within a year? And also, could you elaborate on any initiatives your office is undertaking in response to the development stemming from the commission's evolution?
To the development?
Stemming from the commission's evolution.
Yeah. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yes, that's my question.
Thank you. You are conflicting two things here.
No.
No, I'm coming, yes. Allow me just to come.
Okay, I'm listening.
The local government commission is one thing. The investigatory committee on Carallo is another thing. You understand? So I have not gone into detail of what the local government commission have done. But I have an intention to dissolve it and bring a new one with more energized Gambians to do a better job. That is my intention. Yes. You understand? And then you have the local government service and also the board, the physical planning board. Yes. There are a lot of commission and boards that I need to deal with. But we are looking for prominent, committed Gambians who we can all trust to do this job for us.
I think this lady is talking about the ongoing commission.
Oh, you mean the council?
Yes.
We cannot comment on that until they present our report to us. They are investigating. And you are all hearing it. When we got the reports, we know what to do. They are based on their recommendation. Here we are accepting all the recommendations. In fact, the layout, second layout of Carallo, nullified. 0. All cancelled. We are taking all the recommendations on board. I will implement all of them. Period. And there you are hearing what's happening. When we started this commission, they say it was which one? We are after this, we are after that, we are after that. Big noise in the country. That's the sad part of our country. They politicize every step that you take to better the life of this country. Imagine getting people from the ways. You are now want to politicize that. You say you want to go to court to defend. Who are you defending? Based on what law? You are making politics on everything. Instead of these people going to work to deliver services, they rather pick a small thing and make it a story out of nothing. When President Barrow talks about NARSOP, these are normal jokes we do. In politics, you do these jokes. When Senghor was telling Abdoulaye Wade, look at your head, it doesn't even have hair, you cannot carry a country. Somebody can, and Senghor, when Abdoulaye Wade was saying your head is so small, you cannot even be president. You know, these are when Abdou Diouf was told, Madam Muse Foras, and the wife was called Madam Mule. You know, I mean, here we sit it here with Usainu Dabo, Jammi and all us. You know, we have these jokes in our. How can jokes be story of politician talking about? For what? When we have more pressing issues to deal with. I mean, I think really we need to change our mentality, how we do our politics. These are traditional jokes among ourselves. We all do it from here and there. You know, so really, I think the way we are going in politics really leaves a lot to be desired in the Gambia. The Gambian people deserve better politicking than the type of politics that we are hearing now. What is NARSOP? Pol sop. Bitiki pol bagini. Is that harm? Bitiki nar, bitiki pol. Is that a crime? No, when I listen to the Rio here, people talking, I feel really bad. We should be above those type of cheap things, really. I think that's the end of it.
No, yeah. So for me, it's about. I think.
Tell me your name.
No, I think it's Ali. Yankuba Jallo, Foray.
Oh, you are from Foray. I know you, yeah. I know you. Go ahead.
So the question will be answered by you or Dr. Sisi.
Yeah, you can answer it. Yes.
The issue of appointing chiefs. And the government is appointing and the chiefs are performing the serving as president of district tribunals. You know, they are politicians. They are appointed by executive. Let me put it that way. They are appointed by executive.
Are you telling me chiefs are politicians?
No.
Withdrawn. Thank you.
What I'm saying is they are appointed by the executive to perform judicial functions. And then we are looking at the spirit of the constitution, separation of powers. And most of the time, the decisions that they are taking, if it gets to the courts, every time they are losing. The chiefs. So because most of the time, their decisions are based on things that you know have nothing to do with the case. So I'm looking at, the question is the government thinking about that line, the constitutional reform, the reforms, the legislative reform to address that issue, to take the appointment of chiefs from the executive for a matter of judicial?
Let me help you, young man, very handsome man, lovely and handsome. Let me just help you. You see, the chiefs have dual functions. One is the normal administrative area of their district. The other one is judicial based on traditional values, norms and conventions of our society. Those can be interpreted based on traditional rule and practices and procedures, like marriages, like things like land dispute, border place, all the rest of it. They don't preside over criminal cases. They don't, not anymore. But issues that are traditional, you know why they are driving that power from? From the very constitution you are talking about. And that's where when you read the constitution, you have to read it on both sides, not on one-sided issue. The constitution of the Gambia accepts Sharia. And these are matters of Sharia, inheritance. They can deal with matters of inheritance because your own constitution that you're talking about has recognized Sharia, have recognized Sharia courts. So why are you questioning their ability to adjudicate on matters of Sharia, marriages, inheritance? Yes, but these are inheritance. When you say inheritance, my father owned this land, you own this land, we say it's all inheritance. Your Sharia recognize that, and your constitution you talk about recognize Sharia.
Who appoints the High Court judges? The Supreme Court judges?
The Supreme Court judges are appointed by the Judicial Service Commission, confirmed by the President.
So the President has to confirm the appointment. Even the judges that deal with the laws.
The Supreme Court judges, these judges, all of them, High Court judges, the Judicial Service Commission recommend appointment, and the President just confirm. You see, when you are President, go and see the Constitution, it reads. He has a right to appoint anybody to perform any function he deemed fit as President of the Republic of the Gambia. It's a provision in the Constitution. You are not speaking to a novice in the Constitution, huh?
I think that brings us to
Thank you, young man.
of this press conference.
Appreciate it. Can we hey go on ma? Acha mi water. Please, Minister, please. Don't actually in quarter in Tampi. Yeah, man, in Jara. You want to answer two? Okay, the minister want to take up 2 questions. Not more than 2. Oh, thank you.
You have the mic?
Thank you very much. I appreciate you did highlight a number of statements earlier before the Minister of Youth and Sports and then subsequently the Minister of Lands. So we had a few questions which we wanted to highlight on that. Okay. Yeah, no, you're done. You're fine.
I cannot leave my colleague minister here. Protocol-wise, I cannot do that.
Okay. So, okay, you did talk about the issue of cement and that there was an increase of $180. So when did that come into effect? Was that gazetted through law, or is that just a policy that the government came up with? How did that go about? Because it's $180, and obviously that is having an impact with regards to them bringing their cement into the country from wherever it is they're bringing it from. So, we just want to know, when was that done? When was it communicated? Was it gazetted? And that's what we need to know.
Let me help you. Let me handle that question.
Okay, go ahead.
I want to tell you something you don't know, and I think it's important you know it. Sit down on it. Don't go. I don't want to get involved in what is not the issue of my domain, but government is government. Government is government, and the integrity of this government, we have a fundamental right and responsibility to defend it. Listen to me very carefully. I have not sought permission from my principal to make this public, but I will make it public so that the country will know what happened. This issue of cement has been lingering. A lot of misinformation has been disseminated everywhere, maligning the president, the government, at all levels. The government of the Gambia have a responsibility to develop this country. And in doing so, we have a responsibility to raise funds by all legal means. One of them is by either tax or duties and levies and charges within the law. We realized that we were losing a lot of money in the border post. How many of these trucks come into this country and how many of them are paying duty correctly? Who are the owners of these trucks? What our investigation revealed. All these trucks you are hearing, cement. Who are the owners? 95% are non-Gambians who don't live here. And what happened? This government needs the revenue to complete our roads. We are saying we have 3 cement factories. The Salam, the Gassem, and the Jawe. They are producing, yes, they are rebacking. Even United States, they reback all their cement. Go and check all the records. The cement of America is where these people of them are buying cement, where America is buying. To go and reback for environmental reasons. Now, you now have these people bringing cement to the country to supply our country at every level. And they have hundreds and thousands of Gambians employed in that, working, feeding their families. Now, the Gambia is a sovereign state. Nobody dictates how we rule and run our country. We have a right, a fundamental right to charge tax, not on duty because of the ECOWAS ELC, they call it. When this government decided to do that, we have many reasons for that. One is to stop the dumping, using the Gambia as a dumping ground. 2, the CFA was climbing to a level that it would be all sustainable for Gambian businesses. You know, most of our livestock come from the other border. Today, Tobaski rams are extremely expensive because when they dump the cement here, they go to buy that dalasi to use it on CFA, to buy it, to go back and come and dump. putting extreme pressure on the dollars. When they buy that survey to go and buy rams, you and I and many others find it difficult to make ends meet. And many of the products related that we're importing from Senegal become extremely expensive. That's one reason. Second reason, their dumping will close all these factories here. And where will those Gambians working, where will they go? Third reason, when you bring, you must pay duty. How are you managing your duty? We don't want to say all. We are not stupid. We know what to do as a government. When you come to our port, you pay. There is no melis malas. You pay our money into our coffers. When President Jomai came here, he raised the issue of cement with the president. Said, well, Senegalese cement is not allowed to come here and there is cement coming from other. President said, Mr. President, we have Gambian companies in this country producing cement. One of them owns a company in Dakar, in Senegal. The Salam, he owns a company there. They produce here and they order their, how to call it, the clinkers, they order it, they break it, they make it produce cement. For Gambia, I only add duty. Tax, not duty, tax on one item. I did not block any of your products. Anyone that want to come here, they are free to come in the Gambia. We have 38 products banned entering your country. 38 products banned entering your country. Salam had a contract to supply cement in Senegal. He was kept 20 days lingering at the border and sent away back to this country. I want Gambians to listen. We own our country. We have to listen, not to listen to enemies of this country for their selfish interest. And Best Water and some of our water companies had contracts to supply water in Senegal. They were sent away because they want to protect their industries. Now you want to dump your cement and don't allow us to put anything to enter your country, and then people will start castigating this government. Adama Barrow made it very clear. He is serving the supreme interests of the Gambian people. And he will never waver in serving this country. And his government is committed to the welfare and the life of the Gambian people. President Jumai, being a very reasonable president, an understanding president, immediately ordered Adama Barrow to make sure they start negotiation with the two trade ministers to resolve these issues. And President Jumai said, very good man, reasonable man, very justified man. He said, look, when I was campaigning, I condemned them stopping Gambian trucks bringing cashew from Guinea-Bissau, passing through Casamance. They banned our trucks cannot bring cashew that our businessmen buy to enter this country. Jumai said, I went against it. I campaigned against it. We should immediately resolve this problem so that we can have a better trading relationship. He immediately ordered that they start negotiation. President Barrow, no wasting his time. The two ministers met, and they are meeting in July to resolve these issues in the best interest of the two countries. These people, I had one of them on television program. The way I had him describe the Gambia, I couldn't sleep that whole night. He's not a Gambian. These are dealers who do not belong to your country. 95% of them are not citizens of this country. Go and check your records. Don't we own our country? Aren't we going to protect our own producers, our companies, our investors who invest in this country? If I can sell in your country, let me sell in my country. That's how we interrelate. But we are happy. The Senegalese government is committed. Is committed to resolving all these issues together with us. They are 100% committed. The new government will work with us, will resolve these issues in the best interest of the Senegambian people. And that's why they just came back in resolving some of these border issues. Most of Gambia, we don't have land where to farm. Our farmers are farming in Senegal. Our cattle are grazed in Senegal. Our people are migrated in Senegal, to graze their animals. We are farming in Senegal. We need the Senegalese people. We need to manage with them. We need to work with them. We need unity and harmony among these two countries. Don't listen to those dictators who are telling you lies, don't even know what's beneath what we are discussing. We will defend and save this country at every level. Thank you.
My question was actually about the reasoning, which I'm grateful you have. My question was, I'm grateful you've explained that. My question was simply, has the gazetting...
You don't have to gazette that.
Excuse me, let me tell you.
Gazette.
Let me tell you, let me help you. Excuse me, sir. No, he was, excuse me. You are coming from a different school of thought. Let me help you. With all due respect.
So you can increase
the government, excuse me, no, excuse me, not duty. I did not mention duty. Hey, listen to me, I didn't mention duty. I said tax.
Yeah.
All the necessary things we have done to effect it. Thank you.
That's not what we have.
All,
we have the current,
excuse
we have
me.
the recent government revenue measures for 2024. We got it from the Gambia Print and Press, which is where the Gazette is. And in there, it includes a lot of different tax increases. It doesn't include cement. This is where my question is coming.
Excuse me, let me help you. Let me help you, young man. Let me help you, young man.
I have a question.
Young man, let me help you. All the legal necessity were done to effect this tax.
Thank you.
I answered the question. I answered my question. You don't like that?
Well, thank you very much. That brings us to the end of this press conference. Thanks for the patience and for all right. Thank you. All right.